First, dead rats posted through the door, cars being petrol bombed and rape and death threats. Some of the horrific abuse facing councillors and their staff who work in local government. And it's putting democracy at risk. That's according to 6 organisations representing local authorities who are warning it's likely to get worse as the general election gets closer. We've spoken to a parish clerk who had dead rats posted through the door, a councillor whose abuser was given a jail sentence, and dozens across all levels of local government reporting harassment and abuse. Almost a quarter of councillors say their team has received harassment and abuse so severe they've had to put in place a security plan, like involving the police. Surveys by the Local Government Association show that abuse is widespread, with more than 4 in 5 councillors receiving some form of harassment or bullying from the public in 2023. That's a 10% increase from the year before. Here's Charlie Haynes.
He was going to rape me. It was a rape threat. I have no doubt about that.
You've done it now, we're coming after you.
Well, it has a knock-on effect to your family. It affects your mental health.
I don't want to end up like Joe Cox or like David Amos.
These aren't national politicians. You won't know their names. They work or volunteer in local government. They run your local library. They approve your home extension, organise your bin collections. But we've spoken to dozens of councillors and local government workers like these across the country who face abuse, often with little to no protection.
I always say Stapleford's the centre of the earth, and if you edit that bit out, you're in trouble.
Richard MacRae is a local councillor at town and borough level in Stapleford, Nottinghamshire. He's done it for 10 years, but it hasn't been easy.
I used to be a doorman. I was a bouncer, some of the roughest places around. You know, we've had people pull out knuckle dusters, I've been threatened to be shot, I've had people pull machetes out and all that lot. That's never personal because they just don't know you. The abuse you get being a councillor, yeah, I'd say it's worse. It's ongoing. Sometimes it goes on for months and months. We've lost a really good councillor in Stapleford because of this kind of stuff. She was getting a bit of abuse and, you know, intimidation, and she ended up knocking on the head. She says it's not worth it.
Some of Richard's abuse has been so hate-filled that in 2021, one of the perpetrators was jailed for 3 years.
There was a lady that used to live around here in Stapleford that was quite abusive online. I ended up having to block her over 30 times on Facebook alone.
I was sent a video. I received it on Boxing Day. It was a chap hammering on the town hall door demanding to see me.
Hello? I want an appointment? No, I don't have an appointment. I don't think I need one.
Yes, you need an appointment.
No. I've been trying to get hold of Councillor Claire Golby for months now, and I'm getting very...
And because of the fact that he'd said he wasn't going to stop, that was when I said, I'm not risking this. So they waited for him at the meeting, and he was given a harassment warning after that. But yeah, this is the things that you've got to put up with. It's an immersive experience, as Claire said.
Claire Golby has been a councillor for nearly a decade, but the abuse she faces has intensified in recent years.
Evil talking as if their pals running the shop, chop them up and put them on the stove. What a cow, she needs her head examined. I'll be coming to visit you personally with a few of my hitty-batty friends. This is your only warning. So the biggest fear is being approached and something happening. It's got to be. For anybody in public office, it's got to be. David Amos was attacked in a surgery situation, which is one of the reasons why I don't do surgeries anymore, because I don't want to end up like Joe Cox or like David Amos. And I know it might sound really dramatic and oversensitive, but it happens.
These aren't isolated cases. I've spoken to people across the country in local government who face similar abuse and harassment. A lot of them haven't wanted to speak on camera for fear of making it worse. There are about 100,000 councillors in local government at all levels, and more staff on top to support them. Research carried out by the Local Government Association found more than 4/5 of councillors say they've received some form of abuse or harassment. That's up 10% on the year before. 22% of councillors, almost a quarter, say their council received abuse so severe they had to put in place an action plan, like involving the police or bringing in security. But it's not only councillors who are suffering. We spoke to one parish clerk who was targeted.
In 2019, I had threats towards me in relation to rats being put through my door. When my daughter yelled, "Mum, there's a dead rat," and then I knew straight away what had happened, and it was just horrific. In May, I was not in a very good place at all. And it's only because I have a very good doctor and she had a phone call with me that she managed to get me counselling, and I am so grateful to them. But it is still horrible, and I still, being honest, haven't really fully recovered, but I don't like admitting that. And it's not somewhere I ever want to go again. And I've never been like that. And to be honest, it's the first time I've ever really sort of properly admitted it.
What do you think motivates the people who are sending this kind of abuse?
There's one of two things. It's either someone who's been drastically disinformed through conspiracies they've read online, conspiracies that flow unabated with no guardrails, that in fact can be amplified by the algorithms which reward controversial commentary online with more visibility. But the second thing is something called negative social potency. It's a psychological trait where people get pleasure from causing pain. And that's really worrying for our democracy and for the people who've been brave enough to stand for election.
According to the Local Government Association, 27% of councillors said they wouldn't stand in the next election. 2/3 of respondents said abuse and intimidation influenced whether or not they'd stand again. With an upcoming election, people are worried about increasing levels of abuse. In 2015, extra police protection was made available for MPs, but that same protection isn't offered to those in local government.
What I want the government to do, and they can do it quickly, even before the local elections coming up, is to put in place with the Local Government Association a package of measures to give particular protection to those councillors who are suffering really bad abuse now, to make sure during the run-up to the elections they are protected both in person and in their homes.
The Local Government Association is calling for the Department for Levelling Up, Housing and Communities to drop the requirements for councillors to make their addresses public. A government spokesperson said any intimidation of anyone is unacceptable. People who are elected or who volunteer in the local government sector help deliver vital services. If they receive abuse, they should contact the police.
It's just the dumbing down of democracy that you get locally, because it just completely inhibits what you try and do as a local politician.
If you want proper governance in this country, we need good people to come forward.
But if people don't want to be councillors, then and these decisions aren't being made, someone else is going to make them. And that someone else is going to be someone that doesn't live in your area. So we need to stamp out this abuse and intimidation and get local people representing local people, and then everyone wins, don't they?